Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing? Good? YouTube doing good? Rumble all right? Pill doing fantastic? Let's go. A lot of people upset about Trump's message report card from last night. I could see in the chat. We'll discuss a little bit of it for sure. But we have a ton to talk about. A lot of more about the Brown shooting, Brown University shooting. Just a lot going on, guys. I do have good news about President Trump's message from yesterday as well. We'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about RFK Jr. We're going to be talking about a lot of things and putting a lot of things into perspective. But before we do so, I want to say a big hello to our good friend, Brett Collins. On Tuesdays, he's here. And you can check out his show, The We Are Rise Show, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, on X, on Pilled, on Rumble, and on BoostTube. So get stoked on that. Follow him, The We Are Rise Show. Mr. Brett Collins, what's up?
What's going on? What's happening, everybody? Was everybody, I covered it last night. I did a show yesterday, and then we parsed out. We discussed it and stuff, and a lot of people, looks like they got it completely wrong. A lot of people were suggesting it was Venezuela. I thought we would at least hear something about Venezuela, but positive news is good. I don't think anybody wants to hear about some. And the idea that President Trump wants a war in anything, I think that's just the fence sitters, the influencers, a lot of people that are the non-interventionists. They don't, all these people who don't want a war or anything, and no one does. But, what are we doing down there? It's a blockade. Something is going to come to pass very soon. So, if people were pushing that narrative and they got misdirected because Trump gave the signals that, so all the media would watch and cover what he was saying, I think it was a good thing. His message got out to a lot of normies, NPCs, about gas, about the economy, affordability. I think it was great. The message that got out there about the military, talked about dividends, very important. A dividend comes from a corporation. Do you understand that? This is not money that the government is giving out, like money from COVID or anything like that. This is a dividend. A corporation is paying out. You're the shareholder. You're getting money back. I think we're going to see more of that come next year in a lot of different ways as the corporation is dissolving.
Well, we'll get into a lot more of that. Being 269, I see you over there talking. I'll get to your comments here very shortly. If you guys want to help out the channel, please do so. You definitely can by getting some merch at riseattireusa.com/INTL/TRU REPORTING. Go there. If the mods could drop in that, I'd really appreciate it. Help out with Gold Pills and the Cash App. That is $stream donation 17. So hit that up. But without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about our good friends at Noble Gold. As we wrap up 2025, it's a good time to slow down and reflect on the year. If there's one thing we've all learned, it's that uncertainty isn't temporary. It's the world we live in now. Waiting for things to go back to normal, it isn't a plan, it's a gamble. For over a decade, my friends at Noble Gold Investments have helped Americans protect themselves and the people that they love by diversifying their wealth with gold and silver. Look, no one knows what 2026 will bring, but one thing is for sure. In an uncertain world, real wealth isn't digital. It's physical, it's lasting, and it's yours. So when you're sitting around the table this holiday season surrounded by family members, the best gift that you can give them isn't under the tree, it's peace of mind. And that's what Noble Gold delivers, peace of mind, 1 ounce at a time. Before the year ends, take one smart step toward a safer future. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com and get your free wealth protection kit today. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Don't leave your future to chance. This holiday season, when you open a qualified account with Noble Gold Investments, you'll receive 10 1-ounce commemorative solid holiday coins, each beautifully designed with a jolly snowman and a warm season's greetings engraving. These limited edition silver coins make thoughtful gifts for friends and family, or a unique addition to your own collection. They're a joyful way to celebrate the season and invest in something real. And we're back. Thank you guys for your patience. Make sure you go there. Just give them a ring-a-ling. That is 877-646-5347. Hit them up and just say, True Reporting sent me over this way. Just do it. You could do it right now. Pause the show. You can go back and watch it and just give them a ring. 877-646-5347. Hey, True Reporting, let me know that you guys are giving away coins. You're going to look in and maybe help me out with an IRA and, trying to diversify my fake money into something that's actually worth something. Why not do it? My girlfriend did it, which is cool. And she's doing well with it. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get into the news today. Breaking. Authorities have recovered live rounds, Brett, at Brown University, opening the door to finding the suspect via DNA. They can use familiar DNA techniques. It can get to a cousin you work back from there. Find him. It's been days. Ooh, let's take a listen.
The information about the DNA is widely out. The fact that the task force is working some DNA, there's some reporting that it's from shell casings found at the scene. What I can tell you from my sourcing is that I think quite significantly they have live rounds. That is, rounds that were not fired, undetonated rounds. Why does that matter? Because shell casings have enclosed a detonation. That's how bullets work, which means they often destroy evidence and they're scorched. In the case of live rounds, think about what happens there on a 9mm automatic. The perpetrator has to fat finger those rounds, bullets, into a magazine, which is the sleeve that holds them, and that gets put into the handle of the gun. That's how a semi-automatic works. So you have a perpetrator handling rounds that have not been exploded that are found at the scene. It's the same thing we saw, if you recall, in Luigi Mangione. When the gun jammed, he also had a semi-automatic. He had to rack the slide to try to get it to work and clear the jam. He did, but that ejects the live rounds. Live rounds at this scene, I think, is a hopeful sign for getting usable DNA, even if he's not in the database. Remember, they can use that familial DNA technique that we saw in the Koberger case. It gets to a cousin or something, you work back from there. So I think that's a positive sign for the investigation, and I can tell you they're scraping very hard at it.
So just talking about that right now, did the guy wear gloves? I mean, all these sorts of things. I understand that everyone out there, you could think about the firing residue on clothing, but they don't have that person. Where did he get that gun? We don't know. If you watch that video, which we watched last night, for those that were here, this gentleman is walking. The perpetrator involved was walking, sees another person that also looks very, very sketched. As soon as he sees this person, he runs the opposite direction. That was very weird. We talked about that a little bit last night. I found that to be weird. Could be nothing, could be something. I don't know. But when it comes to this, how are you going to get back to this? Just seems like we could plant this on anybody. And Brown University is like, hey, listen, this guy works for us. We got to keep this out of the news. It's kind of creeping into the news. But again, they could plant this on anybody. They can make up a name. They could make up a person. They could bring in a fake person, sleeper cell, whatever it may be, or just a patsy. It doesn't matter. I think they could bring in anybody. Brett, what are your thoughts on this when it comes to the residue on the clothing? Probably don't even have that. They don't even know who they're looking at, except for this gentleman here, and then these unfired shells that are on the ground. Where are we at with this, do you think? Muted.
The FBI's gotten a lot of blowback, and they were there for assistance. So it looks like they were looking in the snow for spent shell casings in general inside the area. But the odd thing is that this turns up now 6 days later, 72 hours past this. I mean, we're well into losing the narrative on who actually did this. And I don't want to jump the gun, but we know that there's a story, a connection that's popping off. I just sent you another one in Telegram.
Okay.
So so this story is fluid. And I personally think that whoever did this is already out of the area and is on the run. whether or not they extract DNA from the unspent shell casings and stuff, or they find anything, it still leaves doubt and chance. And I'm very uncertain that this police department, who is basically totally connected to Brown University, who basically, they backdoor them. I mean, Brown University basically makes Providence who it is. And so everybody there has an equal part of making sure that the narrative doesn't blow back negatively on Brown University. But that's already too late. They've already done the damage control, and there's no way you can look at this and say they were on their best, let's just say, best
P's and Q's.
Well, yeah, viability to solve this mystery. It seemed to me that they didn't want this solved, all right, in any way. And so since they slow walked this out, and Brown is now having to admit that they shut down the cameras, because that's being putting out, people are putting that out and saying, hey, look, you shut this down for human rights back in August of 2025 because ICE was coming out looking for illegal immigrants. And what you did was you sacrificed safety over security. And then the thing is, you sacrifice what? Your students at the school for illegal criminal aliens, all right? And whether or not they go to your school or anything in this way, that this was done in a large protest because the base of the school, the majority of the school, 90%, are all leftist progressives, trans gay, 40% are trans gay binary. So when you understand that, they did themselves a disservice on purpose, and they acquiesced to the base of the school and the students. And I think, if only 86 people that they know for a fact that go to that school are conservative, Republican, that's not good, because you're going to be on a list. And that list, whether it was targeted or not, I think she was targeted.
100%.
We're hearing now Jack Posobiec says to Bannon that she was shot 10 times. That's what's being underreported. And I looked at other media outlets to see if that was covered in rags, and they're saying she was shot multiple times. I don't know about 10 times. So she was targeted. Everybody else, I think, was collateral damage. I think in some way, when one of the witnesses looked at the shooter, that he peered off, he wasn't looking for it. He was waiting for her. He followed her to the economics building when she walked in. What is it? The Bauer and Hawley building, where there was no cameras, there was nothing. How he got in, if there was no security thing, it's an old building. Do you need a security pass to get in, like student passes to get in? I mean, so obviously there was no campus police there. It was unguarded, not protected, so anything could happen. Clearly that's a motive. I mean, the motive has already been, I think, presented multiple times, and people are like, well, there's no motive. I'm like, well, there's a connection. We're also going to jump the gun and say the possible investigation that they're going to look into with the shooter or the deceased nuclear physicist in Brookline, Massachusetts, which is a very rich area. And that's another thing. So how are these two related in some way? Was someone going out on a mission to just basically kill this? I mean, I don't know where the connection is. I mean, so you shot up Brown. Is this person just going after Ivy League people at the school? I mean, was this MIT professor a Republican or conservative? I don't know his political stance and stuff in this way, but and why after him? Or was this original assassination of this girl and this Uzbekistan, who I think was collateral damage, and other people that were shot? Was that a distraction for a larger target for people to focus on? And also, the one thing that we see about is that sanctuary city fiefdoms, these blue city state fiefdoms, are failures. They are failures by their own, let's just say, own demise, their own mistakes, that they rather coddle and submit to the progressive agenda and sacrifice safety over safety and security over the, let's just say, the people in general that are going to the school versus the illegal criminal scum. Remember the whole scenario back in 9/11? Let's give up your rights. Give up your rights. Okay, for what? So we can go out. So we can do the 702s, 203s, all these things. So we can listen on you, spy on you, walk back your Bill of Rights. Remember all that narrative that was coming out? No, I don't want to sacrifice my security. Well, we don't have security or safety, and our rights are being just pulled apart right now. And you're seeing it. Providence, Rhode Island, the connection to Brown, this is going to grow tighter. Okay. How much have the university been funding the city, the mayor, the governor knows? How much kickbacks do they get from their $9 billion enterprise that they operate from? I think we're going to find out more and more. I think the FBI really has to take the reins in this, because now if you have a connection through multi-state lines, commerce per se, I think you'll probably have to see an investigation with the FBI will be more expansive. There might have to be some type of level where they'll have to step in and say, hey, look, we got to look at this and saying, is this domestic terrorism? Is there something far greater than that? What are we looking at right now? Because the Providence police, they have not issued any level of security to the community, and they have not provided any information. They look like they're not going to do anything about it. I think this is going to go unsolved, personally. That's my opinion.
Guys, if you're enjoying the show, please go ahead and help out with gold pills if you can over there on Pilled, and you can hit up the Cash App, money sign, stream donation 17, and you can help out Brett at buymeacoffee/wearerise. Drop it in the chat if you can, mods. I'd appreciate it. This is what Brett's talking about with the similarities and maybe a connection where you can see here, authorities say that they have uncovered evidence that could connect the Brown University shooting to the murder of the MIT professor. I mean, it was hours, I feel, right after that this took place, which is very strange. Just 2 days after, 48 hours after the violent attack at Brown, MIT professor Nuno Lorio was found shot multiple times in his own home. People familiar with the investigation say that evidence has emerged suggesting the crimes may not be isolated incidents. Lorio was appointed head of MIT's Plasma Science Infusion Center last year. Let's see.
Police are investigating possible ties between the shooting at Brown University on Saturday and the killing of a MIT professor 2 days later in Brookline, Massachusetts. A gunman opened fire inside the Barris and Holly building at Brown University Saturday afternoon, killing 2 and wounding 9. On Monday, MIT professor Nuno Loureiro was shot multiple times inside his Brookline home. He later died at a local hospital. Target 12 has confirmed law enforcement is now examining possible connections between the two crimes and discovered evidence that could link the killings. In the meantime, the criminal investigation into the Brown shooting is very active. Police are investigating.
So there you go. There could be a connection with the two of them, and we talked about that a little bit yesterday. But there is more to it from Red Wave Press, as we can see here happening now. Police are now investigating possible ties between the Brown University shooting last Saturday and the of MIT nuclear professor Nuno Loureiro, according to WPRI 12. The potential connection marks a shift in the investigation. There are special agents that are now in charge of the FBI Boston office said that there seems to be no connection between the two bang-bangs. The next briefing is scheduled at 4 p.m. Thursday. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, this manhunt now.
Breaking today, and this could be a big break in the case. Investigators finding live rounds at the scene of the Brown University shooting. That is according to sources that Fox News contributor Paul Morrow has been speaking to as the manhunt for the gunman carries on. Our correspondent CB Cotton reports live. She's in Providence with the latest. CB?
Hey, John, yeah, this manhunt now stretching into its 6th day, and investigators say they desperately need the public's help to identify a new second person seen walking along this sidewalk on video, nearly crossing paths with a person of interest.
Bro, that's what I was talking about yesterday. Did anyone talk about that yesterday? Did anyone say, yes, I got your message. Okay, cool. I'll check it. I talked about that yesterday. That's crazy intuition. I said that at the beginning of the show. That when that guy was walking up and I said he looked weird, could be something, could be nothing, the other guy turned and ran. The perpetrator. Is that who they're talking about? That was really weird when that happened. Does anyone remember that for me saying that last night? Wow, man. Why the fuck am I not doing this?
This all happened about 2 hours before the shooting and shows the person of interest appears
If
to
they show the
notice
same person
the
I'm talking
second
about.
person and run away. The second person is wearing a navy jacket, green hood, and once the second person gets to the corner, it looks like the person of interest runs away once again. It's a bizarre moment, and Providence police think the second person could have answers.
You can see the person of interest look at this second person and run away.
Correct.
What do you make of that interaction?
Yeah, that's something we can answer, and that's the reason why you hit it right in the nail. We want to speak with them and find out what that means.
Here's a picture of classroom 166 where 2 students were killed and 9 others were wounded. Investigators say they still don't know the exact number of students who were inside because it was an optional study session. Study sessions are often recorded, but the police chief says.
What did he say?
I don't understand what he's talking about.
Yeah, he said this.
Yeah.
That's what he said. Do it again.
You can see the person of interest look at this second person and run away.
Correct.
What do you make of that interaction?
Yeah, that's something we can answer, and that's the reason why you hit it right in the nail. We want to speak with them and find out what that means.
Here's a picture of classroom 166 where 2 students were killed and 9 others were wounded. Investigators say they still don't know the exact number of students who were inside because it was an optional study session. Study sessions are often recorded, but the police chief says this one was not. To make matters worse, officials have said the classroom was located inside an older part of the building that has fewer, if any, cameras. Now Brown has said it will do a security review in the aftermath of this tragedy as questions continue to linger about how a university with an endowment of more than $8 billion has these what appears to be obvious security lapses.
Bro, if anybody wants to just go back and watch maybe the first 10 minutes of last night's stream, I said almost the exact same thing that this person is saying. And I don't know anybody else that said anything about it. So, I mean, I don't watch anybody's streams because I don't want to take, it's easy to get influenced. But I'm just saying, that's crazy. I'm not saying I'm, like, smart or anything like that. But, I mean, it's just intuition looking into that and just being like, my God, like, is anybody going to say anything about this? I have not seen anything on X, anything on anywhere talking about this, and now they start bringing it up. That's crazy, bro. Wow.
They're reporting a lot of stuff right now. Check your Telegram.
Okay.
It's almost as Brown University shooter initially targeted Ella or the Jewish professor, and when that didn't happen, went on a rampage, traveled to Brookline to kill an MIT professor who was also Jewish. So now they're tying in this Iran. Oh, my God. Here we go. New York Post is reporting they're probing ties between Brown University, MIT shootings. The manhunt is on the way. They identified the shooter, apparently in Providence. So, okay. I mean, they're not going to tell us who it is, though, obviously.
No.
So if you identified him, make sure you get it right this time. Make sure you don't detain a guy for 24, 48 hours where you waste time who's a white army guy, all right? Because he had a scope on his gun that you wanted to target, because you don't want to look at illegal aliens or third worlders or people from Iran or Muslim people, anything that fits the mold in some way that they want to, cover their ass. But a lot of this stuff is being reported out right now. Officials believe Brown University mass shooting, the murder, MIT professor could be linked and now investigating. 2 days apart, 50 miles apart. Yeah, I mean, Rhode Island from Massachusetts, 50 miles. That's like me driving from West Palm Beach. I used to live in Delray, from Delray to Fort Lauderdale. And that's exactly to the Fort Lauderdale airport. That's 45 miles from Delray to there. So that's 45 miles. So you think that's about an hour. That's an hour trip. So 50 miles from Providence to Brookline, Massachusetts. And I've been to Brookline. I've been to Newton. Those are very high-end, wealthy areas and stuff. I have to tell you right now, that's where John Kerry lives. I would say that an hour, maybe hour, 15 minutes, depending on the snow and the traffic and stuff, that's not that far away.
Well, it's very interesting that they're coming out with all of this stuff. I mean, I'm pretty much baffled by just that, but it is just garbage. But this is important just to kind of put this into perspective really quick of what the news is actually trying to cover. Like we're focusing on Fox News. They want to talk about this stuff. That's great. Are they controlled 100%? But I'm just letting you guys know that all mainstream media is covered, compromised, to be honest with you. But let's just put this into perspective.
The other part of this investigation, of course, is the biography of one of the two students who was brutally murdered. 19-year-old Ella Cook, the vice president of the College Republicans, a group with only 20 members at Brown. She was a conservative Christian from Alabama. She supported Donald Trump, meaning this very well could have been another targeted political attack on a college campus, almost 3 months to the day after Charlie Kirk was assassinated on a college campus in Utah. Think about that. And here we are 5 days later, we're still asking all of these questions because we have better pictures of 3I Atlas, that comet spinning around in outer space, than we do of the suspect in this case, and that's a fact.
True.
Look at these pictures. And that's because a school with an $8 billion
One more time
to the day after Charlie Kirk was
Listen
assassinated
to the comparison
on a college campus
Put it into perspective.
in Utah. Think about that. And here we are 5 days later, we're still asking all of these questions because we have better pictures of 3I Atlas, that comet spinning around in outer space, than we do of the suspect in this case, and that's a fact. Look at these pictures. And that's because a school with an $8 billion endowment somehow didn't have cameras in the engineering building because apparently that building is just too old for cameras.
It doesn't come as a surprise to me, at least, that there are cameras in the newer part of the building. And there is video footage, okay? So there's the back part of the building, old part, and front part, new part. The shooting occurs in the old part, towards the back, out towards Hope Street. And that older part of the building, there are fewer, if any, cameras in that location. I imagine because it's an older building. So as students are fleeing the area of the shooting into the new part of the building, there are cameras in that brand new building that show that chaos.
So again, Brown has got an $8 billion endowment. And the excuse for not having cameras in the engineering building is that it was an old building in New England, where the oldest buildings in the country all are, meaning that makes absolutely no sense as he continues this just fabrication. As far as we know, old buildings can still have cameras. I was at the Colosseum in Rome in May. It's 2,000 years old. There were cameras everywhere. But this is what happens when you let diversity, equity, and inclusion run an investigation. It quickly turns into diversity, equity, and complete incompetence.
Information.
Putting that into perspective for everyone out there. Brett, your thoughts on that? Crazy. Unbelievable, guys. That, yeah.
Well,
we
let's
have
say
better,
this.
we have
Let's
better
say this.
footage of a freaking comet than what
Or
we have here on
Bigfoot
the
or
ground.
UFO videos that aren't grainy. You know what I'm saying? It reminds me of Bigfoot videos and UFO videos. But I'll leave that to chance. What if the university, and I put that out there, it was the Last Refuge that covered it. They said, back in August, that the human rights organization forced Brown in some way to shut their cameras off in regards to not giving up this type of, let's just say, opportunity to ICE to track down illegals inside the area and stuff. So the question is, number one, what human rights organization was able to force the body of this university into submission by removing security cameras or turning them off, per se, because they still have them. The question is, did they turn them off? We don't know that to begin with. They have not admitted to that in some way. That would be negligence if they did. The other thing is, because they don't want to be sued, the other thing is, if they were to, let's just say, cave to this human rights thing back in August, the Left Refuge that I covered yesterday, put that out there. If they did, just to appease the body, the progressive wing of the body, the student body that is there at this university in some way, the president, whatever, and stuff, why? Why wouldn't it be utilized as an argument for your protection and your safety? You know what I'm saying? Because they don't buy that. They don't believe that at all. And so if they did shut this down, which we don't know if they did or didn't, They're just not turning over and any evidence or any type of, let's just say, video that they see on their end. And so what we're in day 6, and now they identified this. They have certain video footage outside the residency of this stuff. So the question will be asked. This president of this university has to come before Congress, the governor, the mayor, this third world. I don't even know what the hell, Colombian. He doesn't even speak any English. I also tied the fact is that there was a very large heroin and drug operation by his nephew that was going on inside of Providence for years, and yet it was tied to it, but nothing was done about internal investigations about this colonel or chief of police or whoever was in charge and stuff. That investigation got whitewashed. Go look that up. I did that on my show. I'm concerned about how much they just don't want blowback to the university and province. They want this to be kind of just whitewashed away. They don't care about Ella. And now that the argument is that this guy was targeting Jewish people, this is what's coming out. I don't know that you could say this because the professor at MIT was Jewish. Nuclear fusion scientist was Jewish, and now they're making this point. You have Jewish organizations coming out and say we were targeted, but was Ella Cook Jewish? I don't know that to be true. Okay, she was apparently. I'm told she's a Christian conservative. So you shoot her instead of the professor. So you missed the professor that was supposed to be there. You kill a Uzbekistani guy. You wound 7 other people. You don't target the black people or the minorities there. You don't. The investigation never led to going and asking the student body, the witnesses that were there that saw this person in there shooting, the suspect shooting any of these people, any questions. They have relayed that message out to the media. That's a disgrace. They haven't interviewed the wounded that has survived this at all. That is an embarrassment. That is a failure. It's pure negligence in a way, but it's not even gross negligence as Persobrick is saying. It's beyond that. They don't want to investigate and find out that their lapses of failure, which are pure negligence, will blow back in lawsuits. But now they have no choice to come out in some way. They have to show whatever video footage that they had told their student body that they turned off, looked the other way, all right, if they have it or not, they're going to have to present that. And that's going to have massive consequences to the university, to the president, who should resign. She's incompetent, boob, has no idea what's going on. The campus police, where were they at the time of this situation? How fast were they there to arrive at this? When was the notification that went out on the cell phones for people to see? We live in a digital age world. But yet you have one corridor of a place that's unsecured, unmanned, no cameras, no security, and yet women walk into this area, whether it's the economics, it's called the Barris Holly building, which is economics and engineering. So you do have women walking in and out of that. You don't think that there's an opportunity for rapists to be around there? Why aren't you protecting the female? All right. Now, 65 people that consider themselves Christian conservative or what are from the Republican Party, I would be arguing right now, you don't care about my let's just say my well-being in some way. If my name is out there to be hunted down like this, now we don't know per se. I think if she was targeted, the question will be, how did the connection go from her to driving up to about an hour and a half, less than that, to Brookline in Massachusetts to shoot this professor? I mean, so if you're going to make a causal connection, are you going after Ivy League schools? Was this something different? Was this something outside? Because there's mitigating. Now people are throwing love bombs out there. They're saying, well, now this is a Jewish thing now. Now that this is an Iranian thing. I don't buy that at all. All right. Why kill Ella Cook? Why kill a Uzbekistani? Why shoot up the school? If they were targeting a professor at the college, why didn't they kill the professor if he wasn't there? Did she get in the way? Why shoot her multiple times? I mean, what message are you trying to say?
That's a message.
If let's just put it this way,
that's
and I have a thought.
Okay.
What if this whole thing was a distraction, and the intended target was the Brookline professor from MIT to throw everybody off the trail,
right?
Knowing full well.
This goes into the mainstream, and then that overlaps this.
Right.
And then you start paying attention more to the MIT guy.
Correct.
You're paying less attention to the young girl who was the head of the Republican, party within Brown. I 100% agree with what you're saying.
Do you think that there is a separation of plausibility?
It's
between
muddying the waters is what this is. That's what I think.
But which one's a distraction? Because obviously shooting him at MIT would be more impactful. I mean, obviously he was bridging the gap on some type of free energy technology.
So who's going to run with that? I mean, we don't know that. I don't know if that's a real thing.
Well, if you look at his bio, that's what he was doing.
Okay, what happened to the guy that created a weed eater that ran off water? That guy disappeared.
Do you know he's not the first person that was a professor that was killed at MIT? There was another one in 1985 that was doing experimental stuff with free energy. I'm just throwing that out there.
I really don't know. Clank says you dudes get pretty greased up over bull crap. Carrot dangling. I don't know. Clank, get the hell out of here. Somebody bust him.
About what?
It doesn't matter. But yeah, it's no. What I truly believe is that muddy the waters with somebody that is Jewish that is getting killed. Go ahead, throw that into the news and let it cover up a Christian girl that was shot 10 times. Or however many times Jack Posobiec. I don't know. I don't trust him either. But yeah, it's just you're putting that out there. Go ahead. I mean, that's totally fine. But it's muddying the waters. It's trying to distract you from looking at one thing and then looking at another thing, and then that's what they're going to try and run with. Forget the young Christian girl. Let's talk about the Jewish man that was a physicist or whatever he was doing. Let's talk more about that, and let's muddy the waters, and you'll slowly forget about it. And in all truthfulness, you're gonna forget about both. You're gonna forget about both.
But I would be. The thing is, if you don't bring this guy in, they're saying the suspect they identified. Look, if you don't bring it in, I mean, there's not gonna be. I hope that they bring this person in for Ella and the students of Brown. As for the professor, I don't know how this is connected. If this was, again, like a secondary plausible deniability, but I don't know which one was the distraction, and I don't understand in some way how this was causally related. But to make it's an argument about killing Jewish professors and that throwing that in there as a bomb, I'm not really sure how you can glean that argument. I'm just really concerned about her. Why was she shot multiple times and no one's reporting about that, Thomas? See, that what bothers me. That means that if you're shot multiple times, whether you were intended target or not, you were emptying the clip for some reason.
Extremely aggressive too.
Yes.
It's extremely aggressive. It's a target hit. That is, I'm making sure that no one can resuscitate you. I'm making sure that you're not going to be able to come out and talk about this. That's what a targeted hit is. It's just getting rid of somebody for sure. And this is on Brown University. This is on their lackey police force and et cetera, et cetera. But again, I mean, somebody said it earlier. I don't know who it was. Pull your kids out of school. Do it now. If your kid is a conservative, if your kid is even down the middle, but somebody, here's what they say on Call of Duty or something like that, I'd watch out, man. I'd watch out, because people are out there are nuts. And I told everybody yesterday, if you don't have protection in your home, please go ahead and get that, for the love of God. We don't want to hear about anybody missing that tunes in or anything like that. It would be absolutely terrible. Just looking through some things. Just looking for updates. Nothing as of now. Yeah. Dang, Greg Biffle died? That sucks. Dang it, bro.
Greg Biffle.
Greg Biffle's a NASCAR driver. His whole family passed away in a plane crash.
Oh, that was that plane crash in North Carolina? He was in the plane? His whole family?
The whole family.
Holy shit. Wow.
Yeah. That's super sad.
Was it sus or was it just mechanical failure?
I don't
Hit
know.
a bird?
They're just identifying stuff now. This sucks. Let me get to some thank yous really quick. I want to say thank you out to Jack Attack 17. Thank you for the cookie. Tia with the can. Dream Team is back. Thank you so much. Zach from Tennessee. The daily reminder, these gentlemen are the best in the effing game. Love you, fellas. So, Cuomo, LOL. I responded back to that. So funny, dude. Love you, man. Thank you, Zachary.
Thanks, Zach.
A boneless chicken. Thank you for the shades. Appreciate that. Trump won. Thank you for the cookie, one of our faithful mods, along with Trusty Turnip. Good to see you. Tia, thank you for the cookie, and good workout. Thank you for the cookie as well. Let's try and hit 5,000 gold pills if we can. 2 ships will get us there for certain. Brett, you called it. I got it up on the board, and let's go ahead and talk about this, man. I think you called this before me even hearing about it, but yeah, let's go ahead and get into it.
And you're the only person that actually revels in my futuristic predictions. It's funny because it's funny because you know what I do is I go back into the thing like with my AI and look at those things I say, and I'm like, man, I did say that 3 months, 6 months, 2 months, and now I know this because
this was about 3 weeks
on
ago.
I said it 3 weeks ago. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. You're doing Lord's work, man. Intuition, folks. We all got it. Tune into it. Activate it. Dan is the best partner from Cash Patel that I could have ever asked for helping to restore this FBI. That's a far-fetched thing to say. He brought critical reforms to make the organization more efficient, led the successful summer heat operation, served as the people's voice for transparency, and delivered major breakthroughs in long unsolved cases like the you-know-what investigation where they found stuff outside of the RNC and the DNC during January 6th, and that's only a small part of the work that he went about every single day delivering for America. He's not only completed his mission, he far exceeded it. We will miss him, but I'm thankful he accepted the call to serve. Our country is better and safer for it. And I agree. President Trump on this. Old Trump.
Oh, Dan did a great job. I think he wants to go back to his show. Yeah,
I think he wants to go back to his show. So he's going to go back onto Rumble and do some shows there and make a lot of money. He's already made a lot of money.
I think he's going to make a fortune. He's going to look. I know there's 2 camps on X right now. A lot of people think that he was a failed boob, that he used his podcast to get into a position like this, and he tucked and tailed because he couldn't handle the truth. There's another thing is that the argument is actually there's 3 things. The argument is that the deep state, the deconstruction of the FBI is too pervasive, too massive. It can't be quelled. I disagree with that. I think it is being deconstructed, and I think he had a part in it. I think, yes, he found out a lot of dark stuff. I think there's a part of him that, look, he lives on the east coast of Florida, north of Jupiter. And I'm not going to name where he lives, but the thing is, he's away from his family. He wants to be home. He wants to be with his kid. I mean, this guy just got over a cancer. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say, he's a fucking puss. He's a wuss. He failed. 76, 279, maybe 290 days he's in. Look, he selflessly did this. He took a pay cut, a massive pay cut. And you know what? Why are you going to attack him? I'm not a Bongino guy, but I'm not going to sit there and say, you failed. You pussed out, and then anybody calls me a retard for saying something like that because he didn't expose Epstein. That was his biggest thing. On his platform, the Epstein thing was the biggest thing. There's no doubt about it. And where did we go? Did he butt heads with Pam Bondi in the Justice Department? Absolutely. I don't think he butted heads with Kash Patel. But let me ask you this.
Okay.
Who really thinks runs the Justice Department? It's not Pam Bondi.
No.
It's not even the underlings.
These are the faces.
The White House.
These are the faces.
It's the White House.
Yeah.
The White House runs this. And whatever team is behind President Trump runs the White House. Whatever team that you think that operates behind the FBI or with the FBI that are doing all this great work to uncover stuff, catching terrorists, they're catching pedophiles, they're doing all these different things. None of this stuff, okay, is happening on its own accord. It's being backed up, monitored, and being pushed out there. They are mannequins. They are the face of the administration.
Correct.
What is behind them is the element, the sword that wields it, that utilizes it, that cuts through butter, all right, that really just goes through unannounced, unbrashed. I just think a lot of people are really not really seeing this in some way. Whatever Bongino got involved with in the sense of what he signed up for, he's had enough. He's had enough because I had said, not just 3 weeks ago, I said months ago, the changeover in the administration is going to be happening. I do believe DHS Secretary Kristi Noem is on her way out. Yes, I think so. I think she's going to campaign to run for president against, what's his name? The vice president right now, currently, J.D. Vance. But I also think he's gone. I said that. And now when you look at what happened with this Vanity Fair article that just unfurled out, you think it was accidental? Do you think that there wasn't an intent behind it? You know, I did a show on that last night, shameless plug, but I want to say right now is that whatever you think about Susie Wiles, whether you think that how Vanity Fair painted her as this Judas bitch and saying all this supposition and all this other stuff, I would contend in some way that President Trump and the administration put out the records, the recordings, and the video of the interview that went on half a year with Vanity Fair. The other argument is, why would you want to go on Vanity Fair and do this expose with the administration and Miller and Caroline Levitt and all these other people and stuff like that? What was the point of this expose? Was it to undercut Vanity Fair, to crush it, maybe sue it into oblivion like you're doing the BBC for $10 billion? I'm not really sure. And what does it matter at this point? Is it an exit visa for Susie Wiles? Yes. What do I mean by that? I think she's also dipping out. Dan Scavino will take over as chief of staff next year, and we will see that. So all these different discussions and, interloping arguments about this stuff that Dan pushed out, Dan's time was up. They already had hired a secondary person to fill a position that he had. I forget the guy's name. And he's under that type of vacancy clause. So this window was set up at a timeline, not necessarily for his own, let's just say, volition to leave. I think it was set up that they were refilling this timeline to make sure the vacancy clauses where they're filling the position of deputy dog was to be enacted at the right time. And yes, I believe months ago, Dan wanted out. I think he said after the Epstein thing, I'm done. He's going to go on his podcast and roll it. He's going to spill the beans about a lot of stuff. And, I hope he's mindful about not attacking the administration and being quite aware of his scenario. That's what I would be, and make sure his EQ, not IQ, intelligence, okay, emotional intelligence is up here and not down there when he starts, let's just say, fragmenting everything.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. You better be careful going back on that podcast and saying some shit. I mean, that's...
Or stuff that's classified. I mean, I hope not.
I think he's smarter than that.
I know he is.
But yeah, it's as you can see, here is who is poised to become the sole FBI deputy director after Dan Bongino's departure. And you can see President Trump will likely not have to look far to find outgoing FBI Director Dan Bongino's full-time replacement. As the Gateway Pundit reported, Dan Bongino on Wednesday confirmed that he is resigning from the FBI and leaving in January. So he's not going to have to look too far. Of course, the next question on everyone's mind is who will replace Dan Bongino as he returns to the world of podcasting. Fortunately for Americans, the replacement appears to be in the FBI building already. According to reports, Deputy Director Andrew Bailey, somebody better do a background check on this boy, poised to ascend to Bongino's position. He will assume additional responsibilities in the role, including overseeing the Bureau's daily operation and making key decisions. So you've looked into this fella a little bit?
I believe
Brett?
he was the AG or something out of Missouri that was brought over here to replace him. And this was months ago that this was set in place, maybe a month or two ago, knowing full well that Bongino had already resigned or given the clause. Now you got to fill you got to fill these vacancy clauses. You got to go through all these permutations and stuff. So based upon how it is, because the Senate, the Congress, they're not fast tracking people to be appropriated and confirmed at a level they should be. Will Bongino, I mean, he's going to fit a certain narrative at the time until maybe he's confirmed in some way if he has to be. Look, the whole thing with Bongino really, I think a lot of people are really overlooking this in some way. They're just over the top with this and saying he's had enough. He didn't like all this stuff. Look, Bongino goes on Fox all the time. He said it multiple times. My family misses me, this and that. All right, take him at his word, okay? You don't know what's going on in his mind. Let him go back to his podcast, which was the biggest podcast. Let him go on there and and let him speak. Let him speak. Let him talk about his time there and stuff. Don't put words in his mouth. Don't, extrapolate thoughts that are not there. Don't sit there and whatever. I mean, if you want to call him this or that and stuff as a week and what have you and stuff, I personally believe there was a fight between him and Bondi over Epstein and other things. I think so, because his platform was basically the main argument about the Epstein, files and all this other stuff. So I would have to contend in some way, yes, he is from Missouri. He is great. He was the AG, Melissa Cage 9215 on YouTube. Thank you. I was correct about that. And he was selected to replace Dan, I believe, a month and a half ago. But so everything was in the works. So I guess Dan got frustrated with the Justice Department, Pam Bondi in some way. Does anybody believe Pam Bondi is going anywhere? All right. I mentioned other names and stuff. Do you want Pam Bondi to go away? I mean, do you think Pam Bondi is being stalled and blocked from doing a lot of stuff? Do you think in some way what you're seeing right now that she is a useful idiot, that she has no viability, no power in the sense of what we think it is, that she is also being controlled directly from the White House? Think about that and understand that. I don't necessarily believe in any way about what we see right now on face value that these people are put in positions. I find it just like comical that the director of the FBI goes on his show. I think they're engaged with Katie Miller, who is Stephen Miller's wife, to go on there and talk about their relationship. I think they are engaged. So I'll just leave it at that with the Nashville country star, who I never heard of. And she goes out, right, and she was asked point blank, do you have a passport that has Israel on it? No. Have you ever been to Israel? No. Are you Israeli? Are you Israeli? No. And like all the stuff. So basically, Katie Miller is basically asking her straight up, point blank. And, you could see Kash Patel laughing. And it's almost comical that a lot of people are just being so fooled in so many ways. And they're sitting on the couch and they're talking. Have you ever seen an FBI director that is not so clandestine, so secret, so covert, like the last one, like Chris Wray or any of these, Mueller or Comey? I mean, seeing them on a couch and have these conversations so abruptly, that's why I look at all this stuff as kind of noise. It's all garbage. It doesn't make any sense. And it leads me to conclude that what you're seeing is just mannequins sitting on a couch, puppets sitting on a couch that are there as artificially to do what they're instructed to do, and what's really taking place behind the scenes counters the argument that they're actually in charge. That's just my opinion.
I like it.
I like it a lot.
I like it a lot. Do I want to get into that? Yeah, we'll talk about this. So as you can see from the Wall Street Journal, and the title of today's show for sure is literally what's taking place with perhaps a third term. Guys, I mean, today's show, more rumors are circulating about a third term. And as you can see right here from the Wall Street Journal, just a few days ago. Yeah. It's out there. Trump told by Alan Dershowitz, who's also on the Epstein list, constitutionality of a third term is unclear. Trump's former lawyer presented him with a forthcoming book that concludes the Constitution, is ambiguous on the question. President Trump on Tuesday received discussed a draft copy of a book by lawyer Alan Dershowitz that studies whether Trump constitutionally, blow this up a little bit so I can read it to you guys. Constitutionally could serve a third term as commander-in-chief, according to the veteran legal advisor. In an interview Wednesday with the Wall Street Journal, Dershowitz said he told Trump the Constitution wasn't clear on the issue. In a meeting in the Oval Office, Dershowitz handed Trump a draft of the book titled Could President Trump Constitutionally Serve a Third Term?, which is set to be published next year. Dershowitz said the book lays out a host of scenarios in which an individual could serve a third term. A lot of people think this is his third term, to be honest. Dershowitz said Trump told him that he planned to read the book and asked him about his conclusions on serving for the third term. The Constitution bars anyone from being elected to the White House more than twice. I said it's not clear if a president can become a third-term president, and it's not clear if it's permissible, said Dershowitz, who previously served as a defense lawyer for the president during his first term while Trump was impeached by Congress. The president, according to Dershowitz, smiled and went on to other issues after the two discussed the focus of the book. And, quote, he found it interesting as an intellectual issue, Dershowitz said. Do I think he's going to run for a third term? Nope. I don't think he'll run for a third term. Trump told reporters in October that the Constitution is pretty clear that he's not allowed to run. But again, just like I was saying, is he in his third term, which is very interesting to think about. We have donors out there right now. Trump says mega donor offered him $250 million to run for a third term. And as you can see right there, that beautiful menorah right next to him. Oh, good God. President Donald Trump lit up the White House Tuesday night after Israeli-American billionaire mega donor Miriam Adelson floated the idea and even dangled another $250 million if he ran for a third term. The stunning exchange took place during the annual Hanukkah candle lighting ceremony at the White House, where Trump proudly praised Adelson as his campaign's top donor for the 2024 election cycle. According to Trump, Adelson had already contributed an eye-popping $250 million bones to help propel him back into office. Miriam gave my campaign indirectly $250 million. She was the number one. When somebody can give you $250 million, I think we should give her the opportunity to say hello, Trump said. Yep, so you got that out there as well. That's taking place. Now you're starting to see stuff like this, which kind of ties into it. Pelosi discusses a possibility of a third Trump impeachment if Democrats will win the House, if they can, rather. After 2 years out of her House Speaker post and a year from retirement, Nancy Pelosi just proved she hasn't changed a bit. She still hates President Donald Trump and still hates that he is in the White House. And judging by her latest comments, she wants to see him impeached, no matter how much she lies about it. In a sit-down interview on the Excerpt podcast with USA Today Washington Bureau Chief Susan Page, it probably has 11 views, the San Francisco lawmaker was asked specifically if Democrats should plot, ladies and gentlemen, plot a third impeachment of Trump if they take back the House into the 2026 midterms. So again, that's where we stand. And again, going back to it, there are rumors of a third, count 'em, 3-term president. But is he in his third term? I don't know. Those pictures that he threw up in the White House with no picture of President Biden but an auto pen is hilarious.
And then putting those, let's just put it this way, these provisions or these sound bites of written discussions about their presidency were chilling. About Biden, Obama, many other presidents, Bill Clinton, George Bush. I thought those were, man, they were just golden. And they're not going to be taken down. Those things are there forever. They are in place. I believe they'll be codified with 150 other things that Mike Johnson has said that they're going to do right after the new year. So we'll wait and see. As for this, is he in his third term? Well, you have to go back and walk back what we're doing, unpeel the onion of the 2020 election and the truckloads of information that are used as that singular term in some way that will be evidence to undo, unravel, and return President Trump to that rightful position. The question is, where do we get there? I talked about the Brunson case now coming out of conference yesterday, that the Supreme Court is likely to take it up. It's already being hat-tipped out there. If that is done, look out. That means they move it out of conference. It was circling around on the docket. They haven't kicked it out. Remember when Ghislaine Maxwell's case went to the Supreme Court, they absolutely kicked it out right away. They said, we're not going to take this up. It's done. This thing's been sitting on the docket for probably years now, probably since 2022, 2023. So when you consider this right now, if they take this case up and actually focus on that, what happened in the Electoral Count of 1870, what happened with Mike Pence signing over, basically just avoiding the redress of grievances of Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz, of the 100 people that wanted to redress the grievances of the stolen theft of 2020, allegedly, but it was their right to do it. And they violated the oaths and the rules inside the House that they have to adjourn and come back to. But they didn't adjourn to because of January 6th and the Fed insurrection. That purposely moved that out of contention, would force them to solidify and steal the vote in some way or sign off on the vote. And thus, here we are, that this last 4 years happened. And the question is, where do we get to this point? Will the Supreme Court be the greatest arbiter in our time regarding that? Well, they had a hand in the 2020 election with George Bush and Al Gore signing off on the Chads with the Secretary of State at the time, that Bush won by 587 votes. Wow. I don't know where this is going to go, but if they're in violation of violating their own oaths, and also that
what year was that election? You said 2020.
2020, where 587 votes was the mark where Bush won over Gore. And what it is that they sided with the Secretary of State of Florida on the Chads, that the number was legit, and then Bush was seated as president. So when I go back to...
But that was in 2020.
Yeah. Before 2021, yeah. The Bush-Gore presidency. And they used to use these Chads. These
Am I having a... not 2020, right?
Oh, excuse me. 2001. 2000.
Okay. I was like, am I dying?
I'm still on. No, my apologies. No, the 2000 election, Bush v. Gore, where he won 581 votes. I misplaced my numbers for some reason. But what I'm saying is that, are they going to be the arbiter of the same type of scenario? I disagree with that premise, because I think what it is, this is really about Congress and their authority. Because in 2022, see, I moved the zeros and decimal points around. In 2022, they changed the Electoral Count Act of 1870, which made the vice president the proper interim to make sure that these redress of grievances would come before Congress and the Speaker of the House to be enunciated before signing off on all this stuff. And it was his authority, or her authority, or his authority at the time, to make sure that the presidential election was certified properly without any of these redress of grievances that would go unnoticed. And the House had built in all these, let's just say, oaths and authorities to make sure that do this. I know it's all wonky. The last point, 2022, the NDAA, by December 2022, going into 2023, they changed the Electoral Count out to make sure the vice president had no role in that anymore, made him a ministerial position, and transferred the power, back into what? Moved it away from the presidency or the outgoing into the incoming with the House, and made sure the 12th Amendment was stronger. So there's so many different other things, but why did they do it? They wanted to cover their own track, especially if they're going to steal another election.
Allegedly.
Do I think President Trump will be I think it'll look back in history. Maybe we'll get to it, that he did three terms. As for Alan Dershowitz's book, I will say this. Alan Dershowitz's book is based on the same premise that Thomas and I used to talk about from what Wayne Allen Root said, that the president will actually, what he'll do is that there'll be a ticket that's going to be running. Let's just say this. Anybody knows that Don Jr. just got married or engaged?
Yeah.
He's going to be running. He's going to be a viable ticket with, I believe, the vice president. That's my thought, because we already see Marco Rubio said, I'm not going to be running against them, and I don't think he's going to be his running mate. I think Don Jr. is going to be on that ticket. Here's the other point. It's possible in some way that he's there, and if Trump wants to come in, he moves in as speaker, Don Jr. steps out, or the vice president steps out as the president if he gets elected, and then he moves in if he wants to do it. I just don't think the country might not be ready for that at this moment. But in that time, when you find out all the available information of what has taken place, you might demand it and say, give him 2 more years. That's just my thought. I don't know. Am I crazy or what? I mean,
no, I mean, cool. I like it. I mean, it's,
the 22nd Amendment offers a viability for 2 more years of a president, because if you look at the term of the president, it's 10 years, not 8, not
right.
2 terms, and not consecutively, Thomas. So that would mean, since that was broken up, is President Trump really in his first term or his second term? How you look at it, because there's a buffer there. That's how the Supreme Court is going to have to look at it. That's number one. Number two, if he's in his first term and the Supreme Court says, well, he did 2 terms, not consecutively, as the 22nd Amendment says, well, then we can grant him, if that election was technically, allegedly, not on the up and up, I'll say it that way, then we'll grant him the remaining 2 years that the 22nd Amendment offers, 10 years. Does anybody realize that? The 22nd Amendment of a president offers 10 years. Go look it up. They get 10 years, not 2 consecutive. It's actually technically 10 years. So I think this is going to go to the Supreme Court, and that will be legislated there.
I just want to say this. If it kind of goes with what you're saying, well, it 100% does thus far. If you're talking about if Don Jr. runs, I saw Trump once say, wow, I thought Eric would be the one. I called this in 2018, 2019. I said I called a monarch of the Trump family presidency back in 2019. I said it for day after day after day. There were shirts being sold at Trump rallies that said all the names and then the dates. I still have it. Maybe I'll bring it on next Tuesday. But it went all the way through the entire family, and it said monarch. And I was like, that's crazy. And you start talking about this, I mean, it really just brings back some...
Well, did anybody see they got engaged at Mar-a-Lago? It was already done, and he announced that. And I think people need to look at that. And it's perfectly timed up. He's only been dating this this West Palm Beach,
smoke show.
She's built-in family, whatever, what have you. Palm Beach, socialite, money, wealth. They come from deep, deep, deep backgrounds. Look her up. I think that this perfectly sets up the opportunity for Don Jr. to supplant his feet, because you need to be married. You can't be gay. You can't do this Obama stuff. You can't be single. You could be widowed, but you can't be single as potential. And I think that the possibility that now that we know that Marco Rubio is not going to run against him, that means that I don't necessarily think that he's going to have the opportunity or affordability to be on the ticket, because I don't think that works for their ticket. To sell J.D. Vance, you need a Trump. That's it. As smooth as that guy is, you still need a Trump. And it's not going to sell because of the discussions of what people feel about J.D. Vance being contrived, Palantir, and all this other stuff. It's too easy. I mean, he was only in the Senate for a couple of years. Now he's the vice president. He's quick on his feet. He's smart. He knows what to say. He always has the right thing to say at the right time, which is just extraordinary. I just think that if you want to sell the next presidency, you have to have a Trump involved, or you're not going to win. That's my opinion. J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio would be a great ticket. Would be a great ticket, but that's going to be a tough sell to a certain. You got to look at the class of people, independents. You got people that are fence sitters. You got to look about. It depends on how this administration unfolds. I mean, we could have a great, first 2 quarters that would just blow up everything, and I think things will be just amazing going forward.
Or there's going to be a blockade in the midterms.
Right. I mean, I don't think so. I think the poll is showing is 63% say that the GOP win will be based on the first 2 quarters of the Trump administration.
Well, they better get on the get on the good foot, as James Brown would say. I'm just telling you right now, and they're doing. I'll give them a C+ right now. What I'm saying is, when you talk about these things and you talk about who's going to be on the ticket, and if you can keep things going in a certain direction, yeah, you're good. You're good for 2028. If they want to run Don Jr. or they want to run J.D. Vance together on a ticket, I mean, that would be
But
crazy.
You said that. You the one who said Don Jr. Okay.
I said it a long time ago.
Yeah, I like Don
Jr.
Jr.
I never said Eric. I never said Eric. A lot of people said Eric. Trump won.
Yeah, everybody did. I thought it too.
Like that. A lot of people were thinking Eric. I said long before I thought it was going to be Don Jr. I just felt it.
I think they're sizing him up.
I think that the whole. Going back in the day, he was the one that was on Opie and Anthony. He was the one that was talking to a lot of people, trying to get down in that almost Tim Dillon world before it was into the podcasting system. Yeah,
he's relatable. Being 269, people are sick and tired of Republicans. And you're not sick and tired of Democrats who are domestic terrorists?
I probably have no idea.
Honestly.
Bean, you need to get out of California or something.
I mean, honestly, all the House and the Senate are all garbage.
YouTube.
They're all garbage. No one is sitting there saying, yeah, we tout this guy, they're all garbage. There's a handful of people that support President Trump. Everybody else is garbage. And, if you were listening to what I was saying, that if the Lloyd Brunson case goes through, you could see 385 retroactively being removed from ever running from office again, and also being implicated in the theft of the 2020 election. And go back to who that is, whether there is people there now or thereafter, or people that are setting themselves up. That includes Biden, Kamala, and stuff. Go read what the Supreme Court is talking about regarding the Lloyd Brunson case. It's in my Telegram. And I do believe in some way that is, I think, the bigger argument out there. It is the albatross that I think that hangs over everything right now. It has not gone away. And I want people like Tracy Bean and other people to explain to me, who think they understand this. Why is it that this thing has never left the conference of the Supreme Court? When automatically, when
Tracy
Supreme
Bean,
Court,
I remember her.
Yeah, and Beans, yeah, and remember that she's like, it's never going to happen. And I saw other people on Pilled attack this, but here's the question: why did that Ghislaine Maxwell case that go right to the Supreme Court was dismissed and kicked out? Said, we're not going to take it up. It's garbage. Let her go to a lower court to deal with that. Why? And now a federal court is going to take up a case and trying to release her. Did anybody see that right now? So why is that? They don't want to be involved with that. That's not what they're tasked to do as the Supreme Court. That doesn't rise to the level of stuff. They have Second Amendment rights. They have constitutional rights. They deal in these things. They don't deal with, the Inquirer shit. They don't deal with stuff like that, even though it has, weight. I mean, look, the right now, the Justice Department, whether Bongino is leaving because of Pam Bondi or not, or he couldn't do what he needed to do, it's because it wasn't that he was blockaded. Is that the face of the Justice Department, the mannequins that are in charge, have no power in regards to things that are being operated behind the scenes. That's what I'm contending. That's what I believe, because if that was true, it had already been out.
Trump one says, literally, I have sat here and thought about who could be the next POTUS, and I can't come up with anything. She also says that there's so much unfinished business. That is also very true. And that's what we're talking about. There's so much unfinished business to get through to get to that point, and to sway people, because a lot of people really aren't that they're not really into this as much as they used to be, because of multiple blockades and also promises that were made and kept, but we have not gotten to that point is
Some people would say they aren't kept. They haven't been kept yet.
Correct. So there's a lot.
But it doesn't mean it's over yet.
No, it does not mean that, and that's what I'm getting at. But I just wanted to say that, yeah, and I was saying that I was responding to her, as you guys could see on the screen. I said, I have no idea, but swear that they were selling shirts way back in the day that this was a monarchy. The family is huge. Ivanka, the first female president, later in the future, who knows? I have no idea. Quantum Response says Donald Trump is the last president of a defunct corporation. I totally understand that. I'm just telling you, this family is huge. I don't know what to really say about that. I'm just telling you that when I went to that, and maybe somebody else saw these. I don't know. I have it. I can prove it to you. I mean, I'm going to have to look for it, but I have it in this house, that a shirt that was saying that this was a monarchy, and it was sold at these Trump rallies, and at a Trump rally. I don't know if anybody else had seen these at other Trump rallies in different states. I have no idea, but you're absolutely right to sum it up. We've been on the craziest timeline. I totally get it. That's crazy. Yeah, Louis McMahon. Are you related to Vince McMahon? Hey, Louis, good to see you. 209 gallon in Houston.
Yeah, I mean,
really
prices are lower. We were at Costco last week, and the price. I know that.
I don't want to know Costco. I want to know some just like.
I was at Wawa. My wife just got gas at Wawa.
That's like Buc-ee's, though. That's like
but if you're getting 93 and that prices drop to 330, 320, that's good, which is high octane for a car, because certain cars require
93 in is crazy to me.
Well, if you have a certain car that has, whatever that requires that.
Well, we don't all have Ferraris like you. I
don't have a Ferrari. I have
know.
a fucking Infinity that requires it, because the last time I put in low tier fucking gas, what happened? My fucking car stalled, and I had to bring it to the Infinity. They towed it and everything, and it's like, what did you put in there? Costco low. They're like, you fucking idiot. It's 90. I said, I know, but I don't want to pay this price. And they're like, blah, blah, blah. And it's true. It's true.
Okay.
It's the same thing. Look, there is a difference between
to the
low.
Dealer?
No, I'm not listening to a dealer. I'm listening to the fact is my mechanic.
I'm being funny with you, dude.
I'm out of here. That's it.
The zoom goes black. It's just over.
No. I'm like you. I'm like the guy. Let me test this, because I like to test
sell
things.
me a Johnson
push buttons.
rod. You need a Johnson
rod.
rod.
Let me try this and see how it works out.
Yeah.
Didn't work out well. I'm glad that my lease didn't blow up, and but they're like, yeah, we fixed it, but listen, try to put better gas in there. I'm like, okay, what's better gas? I'm not going to fucking Mobil or Exxon. Is Wawa better gas? Yeah, but don't do the low one. Okay. Why? What's the difference? Can anybody explain to me?
I think
the cars are set up this way. I don't know. Maybe they're set up to fail in this manner. I know I experienced it. All I know is that the fluid from the oil broke. I had a lot of stuff, and I don't know if it was all anticlimactic where it all just went to shit and they had to tow the car and fix it. And the guy's like, yeah, what happened? I said, I don't know.
It's the gas.
And then I told him.
It's the gas. It's not
the gas.
It's the
I go, if I pissed in the car, I said, dude, listen, if I nutted in it or I pissed in it, would it make any difference? Would it change anything? How about I put some apple cider vinegar in it? What would it do to make a difference and stuff? Because you're telling me low gas, the 88, 89 would damage my car. But if I pissed in it, nutted in it, or put alcohol in it, it wouldn't change anything. Come on. I'm just being facetious. But
I know.
Everyone's getting it.
Branded fuel, BP, Shell, etc. have more detergent than non-branded. Dude,
that's my point.
I understand what everyone is saying, and I get it. I understand that. My husband works on cars, and he told me never put unleaded in a premium tank. I've had okay, that's great.
Yeah.
And Trump one, you may be right too. I'm just going to be honest with you. I've had my Tahoe, the highest end Tahoe.
And yours is a newer one. It's like 18, 19, right?
Yeah. I've never, ever put premium gas in that truck. Ever.
Right. That's
and
crazy.
Nothing has ever happened to it.
Yeah, I
go to Indian stores that, not even joking, it's not that one. It's the dot.
No, I know.
It's the,
Pardon me, I'm just joking around.
Yeah, no, I have, It's not even an Exxon. You know what the gas station is called? And I'm not even making this up. I'll take a picture of it and I'll put it on my social media. The gas station is called Q.
I saw a wine in like
not even making it up.
I saw it in like fresh market walking around. I saw a wine called Q and I took a picture of it. I'm like, get the hell out of there. I just thought that was odd.
Run 93 through your Tahoe and you'll see it run better and smoother. My truck has never ran smoother or better. It's always, I've had it since 2018. I've never seen it do. What do you mean run smoother?
Yeah.
It's a V8.
I don't apparently I fucked up, but yeah, I put it in 91 and 93.
But everyone's
well, no, I have a lease.
So
fine.
I
sold my truck, and like we have one car, so I got to make sure it's viable for us. For things because we rent another car when we go separate areas and stuff. But I regret ever selling my truck, but it was paid off. But I have to tell you that with the lease and the Infinities, they require 93. That's what I'm told. And I'm like, I wanted to go down on this, and he said, no, do the high one. And I'm like, all right, and I didn't, and I paid the price. So
somebody look it up. I don't know. Trump won. What does your vehicle require for T? What does your vehicle require, T, for gas? I don't know. Look up a 2018, the highest, whatever that is, ZLT. I don't even know what it is. V8, and that's what it is. I don't know what it requires. I'm not putting in premium. I have never done that.
That's great, and you don't have a problem, right? So you
never had a problem ever.
So maybe your car doesn't need that and stuff, and that no,
and
every car is
America,
different.
Baby.
Right. That's why I'm like, if you, I don't have an Audi. I mean, but I know people that have an Audi and they put in the high stuff, and they've told me like you put in the low stuff with that thing because it's a German car, they won't run. I mean, okay. I mean, I don't have a German car. I mean, I wouldn't buy one, but they run like. Whatever.
Are we skeptical on all these things? I mean, people, Eric, Q, 17. These are great conversations. If you're enjoying the show, I know we're talking about
I'm
cars
skeptical
right
because I've always questioned the idea about what's the difference between low and high.
Are we supposed to be skeptical on these sorts of things? It's good to run 93.
And I did it. And I proved my point.
Is it good to run 93 through your? It's good to run 93 through your vehicle every now and then. That's great. Another comment that came through: a boneless chicken. My user manual in my Mazda says to use 89. So I mean that's a Mazda. I'm driving a Chevy. I don't know.
Is it the CX-5 or there's two of them. There's a CX-5 and there's a CX-50.
I don't know. I'm just letting everybody know that I don't know. That's the only way that this Hogleg said something earlier, which was, or somebody was talking about it. Yeah, Quantum Respawn, going back to the Monarch type stuff. Also, the book Barron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey. How the hell could Ingersoll have known about Trump or Barron in the 1890? I understand that.
Yeah.
If you're enjoying the show, please show
I have
love
both those
with
books.
the
It's crazy
with
all that stuff is just nuts. And the whole concept of
I know.
Ingersoll Lockwood being not that far away from the corporation, from the White House, it's just very odd. And I do believe time travel is real. It's not for our benefit. It's not going to be ever given to us in some way. Maybe we'll have an opportunity in the future, not in my time, to not time jump, but jump from place to place. Jumper place to place, instead of flying place to place. That will be quicker. But
a boneless chicken, what year is your Mazda? I'd like to know that. All right, this is crazy. It's a Chevy. It will take anything. Renee Nelson, thank you. It's a Chevy. It will take anything.
It's probably true.
Much like
think about what Chevys ran on. I mean, what was the cars during World War II? Fords, right? I mean, Fords. You think about what Fords take. What a Fords take. Anybody got a Ford out there? Let me know if you got a 150 or you got a Ranger.
I'll just do it right now.
The new Rangers are nice.
Damn. All right. What type of gas should I?
My mom's Impala can use that mixed mess. There you go.
2018.
Higher octane gas is more stable. Fronting Genetics, and burns faster. Need for turbos, superchargers, so your engine, it doesn't. Yeah, I have an X50. What do you call it? Yeah, So
there it
that's
is,
why.
right here. I got it right here. This is
Okay.
what it's a 5.3 liter V8 engine standard. Recommended regular unleaded 87 octane.
Okay, cool.
That's why I've never had a problem.
All right. Well, see, getting back to the argument with the taxes and stuff is that every state is
6.2.
Every state is different.
That one
Every
wants
state
premium.
Every state is different because you got to think about this. You pay almost 70% on the dollar in taxes. In certain states, it's higher, like California and New York. You pay more state tax on top of the dollar that increases your amount of how much you pay at the pump. You pay about 50 cents per federal tax. In Florida, we're about 65% between state and federal. All right, so that's why if you look at gas right now, say the average gas in Florida is $2.50, well, you're paying 65 cents higher for taxes. All right, in some states it might be $1 or $2, and that's the key. That's what President Trump is saying. Obviously, California and New York are the highest tax states, New Jersey as well, but those taxes are different. You're not paying 8 in California, in New York or New Jersey. It's just California's off the rails completely, and I don't know what those taxes are that we're discussing right now that would increase that almost double or triple. But it's a scam. It's a total scam in some ways. When you look at the national average at $2.79, you think, how is California $8? It's because it's a scam. It's because of the state. They built in the taxes. They're collecting money off this, and they're putting it in their pockets. That's it. Because I can guarantee you what they're charging the oil companies to deliver it, and all the refined gas to put it to the ports, and all the cuts that they make, everybody gets a piece of that. It's a disgrace. It is. And you need new leadership. You need new leadership. And you got to think about the environmental laws that are in place that help increase the taxes of the gas inside that state alone. That's the other thing that no one thinks about.
I have never heard of this in my entire life. Ivan Vicente. I drive a Skoda from 2025, a new hybrid, and I have to put in 95. What a Skoda? Oh, you're not American. Which there's nothing wrong with that by any means. It's a Czech car. Okay.
Interesting. A Czech car.
Yeah.
Now, where do you feel that? Okay. All right.
That's what they look like.
Where do you see this?
I saw it on.
I have a Skoda from 2025, new hybrid. Okay. I put in 95. So you fill up in your area.
This is not an American, No. I understand that, but you're not.
Who makes a Skoda?
I don't know.
No, I'm asking.
I'll look it up. I could do it right now. Who makes Skoda?
I understand people are pissed off because not every
Volkswagen.
state is a Volkswagen. Okay. Very good. That's a German car then. Yeah, that's basically a German car which makes Audi and Porsche. Let's face it. They're probably a subsidiary that makes Audi and Porsche.
Okay. I gotta get to some thank yous. You got
yeah, sure. I'll be right back.
Hogleg's going crazy over here. Trump 1, thank you for the cookie. Hogleg 71, thank you for the cookie and the can, big dog. Zach from Tennessee with the can. DeBoss is in complete control of the systematic destruction of the old guard. Takedown order coming. I 2026 should tell us a lot. I agree with you. Hogleg 71 with the cookie and the can. Darla L with the can. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas, Thomas. Praying for your daddy's recovery. You too, Brett. God bless you both, and thank you. The hospital has treated my father like crazy. He was sent home, I believe, today with a catheter and no in-home help. They won't be there until tomorrow. They have misdiagnosed him. They have done so many things to him. He's basically been in a POW camp. It's been absolutely terrible and a very giant stress ball on our family. So thank you for that, Darla L. Good to see you. Trump 1 with the cookie. Thank you so much. One of our faithful mods with Trusty Turnip and also Brett. Hogleg 71 with the can. I just crushed a can. Great show, fellas. Thank you, Hogleg. And with the cookie, a boneless chicken with the phone. Oh, thank you, Boneless Chicken. Thank you for all you guys' help and all that kind of jazz. I really do appreciate it. EMP gets a free True Reporting t-shirt. I have like 3 or 4 that I'll be willing to give away. I'll pay for the shipping and everything if you guys want to drop that. And yes, I paid for them with my own money. Let me get into this. This is pretty interesting. We have to be careful with this, Brett. Just a heads up, okay? Let's go ahead and get into it.
These interventions. So today we are taking 6 decisive actions guided by gold standard science and the week 1 executive order from President Trump to protect children from chemical and surgical mutilation. This morning I signed a declaration: sex-rejecting procedures are neither safe nor effective treatment for children with gender dysphoria. These procedures fail to meet professionally recognized standards of care. Medical professionals or entities providing sex-rejecting procedures to children are out of compliance with these standards of health care. This declaration is a clear directive to providers to follow the science and the overwhelming body of evidence that these procedures hurt, not help, children. Additionally, CMS is proposing 2 new rules. The first rule will bar hospitals that participate in Medicare and Medicaid, which is almost every hospital, from performing these dangerous and harmful procedures. The second rule prohibits the federal Medicaid dollars from funding the sex-rejecting procedures on minors. The FDA is issuing warning letters to 12 manufacturers of breast binders, which are medical devices used for purposes such as assistance in recovery from cancer-related mastectomies. The FDA is telling these companies that the illegal marketing of breast binders to children for the purpose of treating gender dysphoria commits significant regulatory violations and requires swift congressional or corrective action. If the manufacturers don't comply, they could face enforcement actions, including product seizures. Furthermore, HHS is also moving to reverse the Biden administration's attempt to include gender dysphoria within the definition of disability. My uncle, Ted Kennedy, was the primary author of the Americans with Disabilities Act and of the 1978 amendments that strengthened the Rehabilitation Act. The Biden-era amendments that designated gender dysphoria as a disability served the commercial interest of a predatory, multi-billion-dollar industry that betrayed the original intention of those laws and engendered widespread public resentments against those laws among the American people and discredited the statutes in the public mind. These are statutes that were designed to protect the most vulnerable Americans, and the misuse of these statutes for these purposes injures the statutes themselves and injures other people who are entitled to that protection and who Americans want to see protected.
All right, let me just say this really quick and why I respect this guy, and I truly do. Is he a Republican? No. Does he have a lot of conservative values? I mean, possibly. But this guy was tied to a ton of Hollywood liberals. His wife, if you watched her interviews with Tucker, with Tim Dillon, she's very funny for a lady. I think that he has the same vision as President Trump? No. I think he has his own vision. But that vision is very clear, and it really, truly is to make Americans healthy again. I really truly believe that he believes in this, and the fact that he sees this is a very left-wing agenda. Not him, but the using the trans movement that is hurting our children, hurting and possibly may have destroyed, which I believe, a whole generation, perhaps 2. I believe he's really fighting for the greater good. I truly believe this, and I really mean this. I would really like to meet him. Just to say thank you for what that he's done. But I really believe that he's fighting for the greater good, and he's fighting against a lot of people that are telling him not to do these sort of things, but he's doing it for the greater good of the nation. and I respect RFK Jr. I really believe that. I think he's an honest, good person, Brett. Brett. What do you think about what he is saying right here? Do you believe he's genuine? I truly believe he is.
I wrote a Substack on him, and you can go look at it. And I said that he will be the most
Drop the link in the chat.
The transformational person inside the administration on so many levels, because of what we've been, let's just say, relegated to deal with in the last 5-10 years. Let's just say,
sure,
with homosexuality and transsexual behavior and so many different, let's just say, how do I put this? Uncomfortable, immoral scenarios that we've been dealt with that we should not be dealing with right now, that are being used as an artifice, pushed upon, but they're very dark, satanic. They have soft underbellies of very different mantras that a lot of people don't want to go into. And I think that it's not that he's like his uncle or his father in some way. I think he is his own person when it comes to this. I really, truly believe when I look at what RFK stands for, what he is and what he's been fighting for on so many levels and stuff, especially in the circles that he ran. Think about Hollywood, like you were saying, and many other things, and suing against the vaccines and all these other things that they're actually going to put warning labels on vaccines now for children on the HEPA and a couple other things. Well, I mean, yeah, hopefully it's not too late. I mean, they need to continue on with this as we move forward. But his transformation in the administration just takes off a lot of weight and pressure from President Trump and many of the other people.
Seem very humble.
Yeah, I think so. He's given, you know what? He also has a good team around him too. You got to think about the people that he has around him, that what President Trump was surrounded in the first term. So I think Dr. Oz is good with the CMS and many other people that are fighting the fraud, the waste, the abuse, and then pushing back on this in general. So there is a good team around this, the HHS, and there's a reason why him and the Secretary of War are under duress, where they're trying to impeach both these people. It really shows you right now they're over the target, and whatever they're doing, all right, is very concerning to them, because the liberal agenda, the progressive agenda, the agenda that the Democrats have bought into, the Baphomet, the Moloch type of scenario, it's dying. It's falling away by the wayside. We're moving out of this. We're coming into seeing the sunlight about what's going on with Big Pharma. Are they under control as we think they are? Are they coming under duress as we think now? I think so. They're starting to see the light, the deals that President Trump is making and saying, hey, look, you need to do this, you need to do this, and all the deals that are saying, or you're going to have to walk away. Maybe we're not going to prosecute you. Maybe we're not going to do this. Maybe we're not going to do that. But I think there's a fine line of like putting a gun to someone's head and saying, hey, look, you need to do this. Or just coaxing them, hey, look, do the right thing. All right? Save yourself in some way. We're not going to hurt you, your company in some way, but do the right thing. Start putting out the things that need to be put out, not targeting the kids, not focusing on all these other paraphernalia and drugs and all these other different hormone therapies and all these other things. You notice how we moved away from, and this is a good point, we've moved away from, I've watched this culture, just in a year. I would say we moved away from what RFK was talking about and the biologicals and the hormones and the injections
with what we're saying here, okay?
And the injections to what? What have we moved off on? We've now moved into the fat drugs. You notice how President Trump is now talking about fat drugs, talking about how there are all these different brands out there to help people that have problems with their waist because of all the food and the. Go ahead.
No, I was just pointing to myself. Yeah, I've looked into it. I really. Have.
I mean, there are many things out there. You don't have to take the Ozempic, but there are other things out there that you use. I do believe that in the future, we'll be able to control. First of all, you have to get people back to being healthy. And yes, simultaneously, you have to get them back to eating a whole balanced meal in some way and moving away from the processed foods. No doubt about it. No more chips, no more pretzels, nothing. I mean, apples, oranges, you name it. No bread. I mean, you really have to move to basically a caveman diet and then add the vegetables in there. That's what I'm on. But I do believe in some ways that what RFK offers is it's not just one thing fits all. He's giving people at a time when we were suffering with all this abuse. If you go back to all the questionable shooters in some way that were appropriated in this manner, removing this, the surgeries and all these other things in some way will be beneficial, not just to your children, it will be beneficial to your future. And also redefining the paradigm to parents, okay, and not listening to the doctors or making sure that the doctors are in what? Protocol to make sure that they're prescribing the proper treatment for their kids and not automatically jumping the gun. There are a lot of people out there that have no problem making a quick fix, a quick buck, hormoning somebody, making sure they go under the knife to mess with the child's natural birthright. And I think that what RFK is basically saying to people out there at this time, it's not just transformational. We have to really overhaul what has been done. There is something that has seeped into the medical community that has not just money, not just power, but just metastasize in there, where you have people that are just absolutely not utilizing and focusing on their oath to do no harm. And somehow we've gotten away with that. And, you know, I see what the UFC guy says, the president of UFC. What's his name? Dana White says, I'll never go to a doctor ever again. And you know why?
I was just about to say that.
And I actually utilize his discussions because I actually just go get blood tests, and I look at the blood test, and then I go find the proper doctors to make sure the balance of those blood tests can be fixated on. I'm absolutely and 100% in agreement. We've lost our way, and a lot of people after COVID just don't believe in medicine anymore. And we have to find some way to fix that going forward, because what we did to our children during that time period and what fell out from that, what came out from that is even far more pervasive and worse.
No, I agree that there was a seeping in of, I think the evil was already there, but I think it permeated to the top, it boiled to the top, and we really got to visualize what truly was going on where, you know, you want to continue to stick people with things that are, I mean, who trusts the FDA, who trusts anything anymore? It's crazy, and I truly understand that. It's very interesting. Bean 269, enough. Sorry, but I am unsubscribing and I am out. Good wishes for your holidays, and may God continue to bless you. All right, we'll see you. Again, I would be texting, or not texting, but commenting back and forth, but I'm still not allowed to for some reason. It says create a handle to chat. This is my channel. What do you mean create a handle? The handle is the channel. What do you mean? Darla L with the can. Now supposedly we all have microplastics in our blood and God knows what else. Of course. But we're like roaches, to be honest. I think that we'll continue to persevere. You know, can't really get too far into that, but we can get into this.
Well, I don't think RFK. We're not even at the we're not even near where we need to be. What RFK is doing.
I understand.
They started with the waste, abuse, and a fraud. That's one thing. Okay, we talked about Medicaid, Medicare, and all these other things. Now the transformation with inside these big pharma institutions to change the structure on how we dispense and medically provide, these products out to people. And then we simultaneously educate the doctors, all the new incoming doctors that are going to, it's like, look, doctors are not pharmacologists, okay? There needs to be some type of like buffer before they are able to prescribe this stuff. They got so much on their plate. That's why pharmacists are there. We need secondary and tertiary implementations where if a doctor prescribes something like this, that whether or not that is good and stuff, it's the pharmacists or other people need to follow up to make sure you don't have allergic reactions to that you didn't tell your doctor. You don't have, I'm allergic to like 15 different medications I can't take, and I know what they are. All right. So when I look at this in some way, I can't take a lot of stuff, and I'm fine with that. And so when I go into a doctor's office, if you're not prescribing me ivermectin or other stuff, then I don't want to work with you. I mean, I'll get it online, but what I'm saying is there are things that should be available to people that aren't available that he's trying to do, and that it's being politically blocked, and that there's motivation behind it to make sure that people suffer that shouldn't be suffer. I think it's terrible. I think the idea that when you see what's the famous guy he's paralyzed right now, Scott something, that he's on X and stuff. He's the cartoonist. He's suffering with cancer. That the fact that he was on some protocol of fendabenazole or mendabenzole or ivermectin in some way. I mean, it just goes back to lead the credence the idea about
what
how many.
cartoonist?
I forget Scott something. What he's on. He asked President Trump for help for some type of thing out of California. He asked for help regarding, I forget his name. Asked for help because of his cancer treatments that they were going to
like a political cartoonist.
I forget his name. Yeah, people know who it is. Ivermectin should be
that
over
guy
the counter.
came on the show.
Yeah, I mean, every ivermectin should be in every state. I know there's 6 states right now. South Carolina just passed it. Florida's working on it. But look, I think the problem is that a lot of the stuff today.
Oh, Scott Adams, who wrote Dilbert.
Yeah, that's him.
He didn't come on my show.
He's paralyzed right now because of his cancer. And if he was able to get the stuff that he should have been given a long time ago because the insurance company. Yeah, I think that's the problem we face. I think that's just one of many different problems we're facing with our healthcare system in general. So he has ways to go. Think about how big our healthcare system is in general and the fraud, waste, and abuse that we're trying to excise out of this in some way while we reinstitute new guidelines for future potentialities of future drugs in the horizons or drugs that were hidden in the past, like future technologies of energy that are hidden in a closet or some room that we'll never able to see, but only a certain class of people are able to use that. That's my point, that we're just at the beginning right now.
Sure.
So yes, transformationally, he is just an icon when you look about what has taken place since COVID.
ZR1 Destroyer, $1.74 in Colorado. What part of Colorado?
That's
Where are
awesome.
you at? That's a damn good price. That's like not mid 90s price. Like, that's crazy. Ivan, yes. Okay, so you're in Sweden. I meant to, if I could talk to you guys, I would. I swear to God, I would converse with you guys through the chat.
This chat's not working.
RFK has still unfinished business. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Do you think RFK could be a future
no
viability for president?
No.
I'm throwing that out.
I think the liberals hate him. But I think
you think the liberals hate him more than the conservatives?
I think the Republicans like him a lot, and especially
he's digestible to them.
He's digestible to them for sure. And I think he's doing a very good job. And, I just think that he is just a guy that is very humble and just kind of wants to do his thing. And that's totally cool. And I like it. I like them. I think it's cool. It's just interesting to me. I totally get it. Hogleg71, thanks for the cookie, bro. Trusty Turnip says, no, there's too many skeletons in his closet. Interesting. Everybody's got their opinion. I understand. I can see that. Just ask Olivia Newsy. I don't know who that is.
Did she sleep with them? Did they have an affair? I don't know. I mean,
okay, if it's an affair, come on, Trusty.
Well, she's a journalist that likes to cozy up with people and sleep with them. So I don't know if she's a claptrap, so to speak, but these people are around. So that's not the first person that she entered into a claptrap, so to speak. So I don't know per
Trusty
se.
Turnip also says, I do appreciate all of his Make America Healthy Again work. It was a cyber affair. Read her book. Okay. I mean, that's fine. Let's get into this. We love you, Trusty. Don't worry about that. I appreciate your opinion. Let's get into this. Marijuana. Maybe absolutely nothing can comment on this.
At the same time, the facts compel the federal government to recognize that marijuana can be legitimate in terms of medical applications when carefully administered in some cases. This may include the use as a substitute for addictive and potentially lethal opioid painkillers. They cause tremendous problems. This can do it in a much lesser way, can make people feel much better that are living through tremendous pain and problems. 40 states and multiple U.S. territories have already recognized the use of medical marijuana. This reclassification order will make it far easier to conduct marijuana-related medical research, allowing us to study benefits, potential dangers, and future treatments. It's going to have a tremendously positive impact, I believe. We're also asking Congress to reconsider its classification of hemp-derived CBD to ensure seniors can access CBD products they have found beneficial for pain and other reasons. Some people are literally dying, and they're dying with tremendous pain, and this can, in many cases, literally stop it. And they have their senses about them, as opposed to painkillers, which don't allow that, don't allow them to die with dignity, frankly. I promise to be the president of common sense, and that is exactly what we're doing. This is really something having to do with common sense. And it's something having to do with the fact that so many people that I respect ask me to do. People that are having problems, big problems. They are having big problems with illness, with cancer in particular. I now want to ask Dr. Oz to say a few words, followed by Dr. Braun, Dr. Casseret.
Dr. Lloyd Braun. I mean, that's great. I just, I did see earlier, if you were reading the, I forget what it's called. It's like the third tier or something like that. It's not called third tier, but it's something that has to do with television, where it's like the scroll at the bottom. I forget what that's called. Third something. That it was saying, this is not legalizing marijuana. President Trump agrees that it should stay an illegal drug. I mean, who are they talking to? And no offense to anybody out there. It's Fox News, and they're talking to boomers, and we get that. But a lot of boomers out there smoke weed. I'm going to be honest.
Well,
with you.
there's many different, let's just say, prevailing arguments from both sides. I know I've been told to go fuck off and die, and many people have, because of my stance about how I feel about marijuana. It's not that I don't believe it medically, and I think what President Trump is doing is a good thing. I mean, it should not be considered like ecstasy or heroin. It should not be. And should it be studied further? Yes. Should it be medically, let's just say, examined for future health benefits,
really
for
quick,
PTSD?
Belushi, you're absolutely right. It's called the lower third. Thank you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Look, all I'm saying is that that's fine. I mean, we had it on the ballot last year, and I voted no because my argument about marijuana and one conglomerate controlling it, we don't know what they're going to put in it. I'm concerned about all the additives that are in it. I know that marijuana today is a lot stronger than what it was than when I was 18 or 19 in 1990. And I'm dating myself, but I could tell you right now, marijuana today is 3 times stronger than it was when I was in 1990. So I did smoke weed, okay? But I realized at a certain time, it's like, you go into college, you can't do this. I can't focus, I can't. And I have a form of that, and I drink a lot of caffeine. I have to be I have to be fully focused. If I am slightly off kilter, I cannot focus. I have to be dialed in. And that stuff really took me away from that. But what I can say is that the reason why I don't like it, when I look about how every city, state, fiefdom is a shithole, LA, New York, Chicago, you name it, it's all, drugged out of marijuana. It reeks of marijuana. I live in Tampa, the areas of Tampa and Orlando. And when I was living down, it just smelled like marijuana. And you know what? I don't fucking like the smell. I'm on bike riding, and I'll drive and I'll ride my bike.
If you want to smoke, do the vapes. Like,
And I'll ride to the riverfront. It's about 4 or 5 miles. I do a 10-mile run, and I just smell this just weed of essence, and I hate the smell. It gives me actually a headache. And so when I think about this now, do I look at it as a medical thing? Yeah, because Florida has about, 8, 9 counties. They're going to expand it medically in Florida, and they think they should. I'm glad that they're going to look at this medically for people that need it, veterans, PTSD, and other people with cancer treatments and what have you. It's better than getting narcotics and getting those pills that people were addicted to that destroyed families back in the early 2000s. We know what those drugs were. They were highly addictive, and I'm okay with that. However, I just don't. I think the way I look at the quality of what it is and how it's available for people, I look at it as a third world drug. I look at it as some people use the term white trash. I don't want to use that, but I look at it as a ghetto drug. And I think about it. I look at people that smoke weed outside on their porch, that just do it, on their own, that not because they need to do it, because they want to do it. I look at people that need to do it because they have a variety of issues, and I look at that, that's fine. But I think it's so prevalent and so pervasive that I find it brings the quality of neighborhoods and the quality of people down in certain ways that really, that when I look at these things and how I see it as a realtor, when I go into neighborhoods, we have certain rules and provisions we cannot say, we cannot talk about. There are things that you can't use, terms like steering and other things. What I'll say is that when you go into neighborhoods and it's just all weed and stuff, you can't just say to a customer or client, say that's potential, but it's like, yeah, it's all these people, it's like whatever. I think that in some way that we needed to come out of this, as President Trump said, to not look at it as heroin or as MDMA or ecstasy, so to speak, or whatever it's called now, Molly. I think it needs to be in its own category, examined, broken down, and I don't want it to be controlled by one organization that would have its own viability and pretexts to, let's just say, increase the strains of their own accord outside the guidelines that may be, let's just say, permissible or not. That's what DeSantis was pushing during last year, and that's why I said no. And it lost by 54% because a lot of people saw that and said, yeah. And then other people were saying, no, you guys were in the wrong and stuff. You know what I'm for? If you want to grow your own weed, you should be allowed to. Not sell it, but I think people should be allowed to have their own farming and viability and make money off of it. I'm going to get a license and do that. If that's what we're going to do, and we're going to open it up medically for people and stuff, then why can't everybody do that? Why does it have to be? Because you know why? They want it to be controlled to make sure that other people aren't putting fentanyl in there or other stuff to get, or PCP to get. I don't think people know what that is. If you go back to '92 riots and Rodney King, that's why they couldn't put him down. He was on high on PCP. But I think in some way it's controlling how much of the strain, really the variant, is going to be, I think, ultimately the argument going forward, especially in my state of Florida.
Well, I mean, I know that my girl, she smokes every single day.
It's fine.
Totally fine. Gets it from Florida. Not gonna say,
no judgment.
Not gonna say from where. But yeah. we got. She's got people.
I've lightened up on my view, man. I have. I have lightened up on my view.
Hogleg 71. Hey, yeah. Brett, you need to pedal faster.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's good.
You know what it is, Hogleg? You know what I do? I don't need to pedal faster when I'm carrying my Glock or my 9. I can tell you right now, I pedal slower. Because you know what? I have what they have, what they call with the cornea dystrophy. I have color vision, and I'll leave it at that.
Stop
pump. It's a joke.
I like it.
I only see what dogs see, black and white.
I get it. Let's not go further into that. But I will say
it's a joke.
I know. I like it. I like it.
I mean, no one gets any.
My right ear just popped, and I can't hear out of it. That's normal.
Do it like this with your nose. I do it all the time. In the
No,
airplanes.
it was not that. Something, I don't know. It's probably about to bleed. I will say this, and I understand that somebody said earlier, they're like, yeah, I'd rather see people smoking weed on the front porch than drinking. If you're drinking and smoking on the front porch, you need to move neighborhoods. You do that on the back porch.
You do that. You don't do that in the front. If you have a,
that's like having a weight bench on the front of your porch.
It's like at a Friday. It's like they're working out. He's smoking weed. You don't do that in front of people. First of all, I smoke cigars, and I know it's not healthy, and I know it's probably not healthy
and it's
at
super
all.
potent.
And it's super potent. It's strong. I buy cigars that are strong, and you know what? So I smoke cigars, and it's probably not a good thing, and I don't want to be a hypocrite. But I sit on my back patio, I smoke a cigar, and maybe have a scotch or two. That's probably not healthy.
Same thing with cigarettes.
And I don't want to be a hypocrite about that. What I'm saying is I like the fact that President Trump lowered it to the 3-tier level because it should not be equated to or equivocated to marijuana or ecstasy. Those are
it's great. No, cocaine.
Hallucinogenic drugs that ecstasy is completely different with MDMA and how it makes you feel and stuff. What I'm saying is I'm just concerned about how much of the strain that certain groups of companies or people that are peddling this stuff that increase the volatility of it that can make people, let's just say, hallucinogenic in themselves or make them,
I don't know.
It's like malt liquor. Remember malt liquor?
I understand. Yeah, I know malt liquor. What do you? Yeah, I grew up on malt liquor.
OE and all that. Remember that shit?
Yeah, we had fake IDs.
That's what knocks you out.
Yeah. No, I understand that. Everybody's like, I'd rather somebody smoke weed than drink. It's like,
right.
I drink.
I get it.
And that's, Darla, that's crazy what you just said, but that's funny. I can't say that online right now.
I'm a porch. Yeah.
Yeah. No. I get it.
I drink and smoke in the back. Mexican.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
No, it's funny. Look, and you know what? I've come a long way because I've been criticized. I've had people I'm
around it every day. It doesn't bother me. I grew up doing it. I did it for a very, very, very long time. I stopped doing it. I had one bad experience, and I really do believe that if my girlfriend will sometimes go to Colorado. She's been to San Francisco,
and it's fine.
She's bought in very, very expensive, good marijuana.
I know my wife has taken edibles because she's got it she was in Arizona visiting friends, and then I know that certain family members medically take some. Look, what I'm saying is it relaxes people. It's better than what is prescribed. The codeine addicted drugs that were poison back in the late 90s and 2000s that just destroyed families.
Took my mom.
Those are dead.
Those still are alive. My mom's still alive, but it destroyed her.
Yeah, all those things have destroyed lives and stuff that you cannot get back. So is this better replacement for that? Absolutely, for pain or other things. And it needs to be more examined, and I'm all for it. Will it pass this year on the bill in 2022? I think so. I think it will. Now that President Trump has signed this, I think there's going to be a cultivated market of people saying, look, now he's moved it into this tier. There's going to be more medicinal science. My only concern is who are the purveyors that are going to control the absolute marketing and distribution of the strains. And that needs to be examined. I think that Bobby had said that we need to look at that because there are people that are artificially increasing the strains that should not be doing that at a level. We need to control the level of how much the strains are in some way and not like to be, off the cuff. I mean, look, what I'm saying is he's not against it, but what he's saying is that the artificial increase of this has a problem of, I think, of making people hallucinogenic or making people, in some way. I'm not saying people die from this, but it needs to be studied more. And I think President Trump is doing the right thing about this. And medically, I'm all for it. But my problem is conditionally how I feel about like when I drive through the cities in general or towns or what have you and biking and it just like I get out of the car and it just stinks like weed. And
I don't have that problem. But I don't live in a city, and I understand that.
Yeah, you don't live in a major city. Yeah,
no,
I mean,
don't.
Tampa's a second major city in Florida next to Miami, but it's spread out. And so when you go to different areas and towns and stuff, you could see, and you can absolutely parse. I can't say anything as a realtor, but I can look at a town and a city and say what exactly it is based upon how much the weed content is viable. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Darla L. Bless you. I'm addicted to Marlboros and beer. God bless you, sweetheart. I love that. Hogleg71 at True Reporting. Mickey's. The Big Mouth green.
I remember
bottle.
Mickey's.
Ouch,
Mickey's little green bottles.
I love those.
I saw those up in New York back in the day. I haven't seen them down here.
They're around. They're around. I would never do that.
You can't get them down here. You can't get them down.
They're around. Hog leg. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
You know, I used to smoke cigarettes and switched to.
No one is being a hypocrite here. No one is being a hypocrite.
No one
here.
is
We all
being a
have vices.
hypocrite out. When I
Everybody
smell weed,
isn't. Yeah.
When I smell weed from Zach from Tennessee, I think this has to be what heaven smells like. LOL. I mean,
That's
I
funny.
understand it.
That's great.
I don't. I'm.
I hope weed doesn't smell like heaven, though.
No.
I hope it just has that smell that you cannot ascertain what it is. That's so pure.
It smells like a furry's armpit. So
You can't say that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's the last thing you know what it is? How about an unattainable smell? A smell that.
Well, that's why I
you
said
cannot-
the vape. That's
Yeah.
why I said the vape. The vape.
No, about heaven, what he was saying. It's like, I mean, it's a good argument. This guy, I mean, what would heaven smell like? It would be something that we can't actually discern what
My
it is.
grandma's carpet. That's personally just me.
I love my carpet. You know, the powder they used to put down back in the 80s?
Oh,
That
sure.
would basically
God
give
only
you
knows
lung
what
cancer.
that is.
Yeah. Remember that? I love your
This is asbestos.
They're coming in and vacuuming. I love your carpet. I'm like, listen, I can't breathe that stuff in because I'm going to get freaking what? What was it? It's like,
You just had an asthma attack.
no, it's the fibers. Remember the dirty fibers in the.
I said asbestos.
Yeah, asbestos. That's
what I
what
said
I love my
originally.
carpet was. Remember that thing? It was promoted back in the early. I'm dating myself. Early 80s, and I walk into grandma's house and they're like the vacuuming, and I'm like, I love my
Dude,
carpet.
my
I'm
parents
like,
did it too.
Yeah, I'm gonna love my fucking
My parents
life.
did that too. It's not a dated thing. I think no, my parents did that as well.
Right.
For sure.
It's funny. It's funny. It's funny.
Smoking is so expensive. I couldn't afford it anymore. It is
Right.
very expensive. My girlfriend gets. She probably $250 a month. She buys. She loves it. But it's not for everybody, and I totally understand that. Which trusty turnip? Are you being dirty? Which grandma's carpet? That's crazy. Are you being dirty? You
What are
being
you
dirty,
fucking
or is that my mind?
What is she talking about?
Come on, we all know it.
Come on, Trusty. Hey, you got over here in the
That's
Divine with
wild to
Jacob,
say.
two of my favorite truthers right here. You guys are
In the Divine with
Tango
Jacob.
Titans. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. We just have fun. This
We
is
used to
bigger
hang out
thing
with
than
those
most
boys.
people. Yeah. No, Tom did. No one really likes me, but that's okay. I'm on my own.
It's not for everyone. I smoke every day for 24 years. Totally fine. And no judgment at all. I'll leave you with this.
Yeah. Weed doesn't smell like it used to. No, I agree with
I'm
that Trump
talking
one.
about the vape.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There's
Oh,
no
okay.
vape. There's
right.
or excuse me. with
Thomas
the
is
vape,
talking.
There's a come on. No, I'm just saying.
Come on.
I pay $120 for an ounce. Okay,
An ounce of
there's
what?
a lot of pots.
An ounce of what?
Ounce of weed.
Oh, okay. Do you go to? Is there a medical dispensary? Do you have a card, or is it? I mean, I'm just asking. I don't know.
One Thunder, 2 packs of Marlboros and a 12-pack of Corona. $40 a day is very expensive. Yeah, that's nuts. I smoke American Spirits, which is
American Spirits from Escape from New York. That's what he
those
smoked.
are the best cigs.
Knows what he smoked. Remember at the end when he jumped out of the plane? Actually, it was in Escape from L.A. when he turned everything off. He was smoking the last cigarette from American Spirits.
I like it. Let me play this really quick. This is for everybody out there especially who's not in this chat on YouTube anymore.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett. Just going to the House floor to drop a bill I've been working on. When the president came out with his tariff plan, I started thinking of how the folks could get some of their hard-earned money back, and I know some folks have proposed a $2,000 check to every American, I got something a little different. I want to increase the standard deduction for all tax-paying Americans, and do that with $4,000 for joint filers and surviving spouses, $3,000 for heads of household, and $2,000 for all other Americans. It would increase your standard deduction, and it'll put you in a lower tax bracket, meaning your taxes overall are decreased, which I think is pretty cool. You see some actual savings, and it wouldn't cause inflation, which some people have theorized that if we write a check to everybody that it could do just that. And this really just means lower taxes and more money in your dadgum pocket. I think everybody will support that. And I'm calling it the Trump Tariff Rebate Act. So we're going to see what happens. It's going to make a lot of people uncomfortable because that ain't the way we've done business around here. But dadgummit, if we're going to put these tariffs in effect, let's see some of that money in our own pockets and quit paying so much taxes. Anyway, thank y'all for sending me here.
So a lot of people are seeing this right now. I know a lot of people are spreading this around. So instead of just $2,000 per American, you're going to see, I think it was $4,000 for head of the household, $3,000 for something else. And so,
well, it's all built in with it's all built in with, pardon me, it's all built in with, you got the $1,500 for what's going in with the health care that's going to come out with the ACA. Now that the House was forced to vote on this, and President Trump is saying, we don't want to give that money to people to health savings account. We want to give it directly to them, not the insurance companies. So you're going to see that. That's part of this. Remember, everything is not structured as a giveaway. It's as a dividend or a breakdown, as what Tim Burchett is saying. It is broken down in such a way. You don't want it to be COVID money. You don't want it to be George Bush money. You don't want it to be like the fake money. These are dividends that are broken down based upon the actual money. Yes. And that's how it's actually being discussed. And the thing is, as we lead up till next year in April, when you're doing your taxes and they're saying, do your taxes early, you might get a rebate. The first time you'll be able to do your taxes will probably be early February and March, depending on if you have a business or it's personal. And you'll be able to get a faster rebate. And that's what he's suggesting. We might see many people, great swath of people that make under $100,000 a year get rebates back. And that's how it should be. Rebates that might be substantial. That is what he is suggesting. And I think that is a good thing. And look, it's not dividend cuts per se, but when President Trump says a dividend, he's saying the corporation, this corporation that we're living in, is paying you back in many different entrails. Okay, it's not like free handoff money. So when you see influencers, they get $75,000, $100,000, they just pop out of the blue. They wear glasses. They got blonde hair. They like to speak in a lot of different, little different stuff that probably were Democrats before, fence jumpers, libertarians now, and they say, well, you can keep your money and shove it up your ass. Well, you know what? 2 weeks ago, you were bitching about the affordability about all this stuff, but you want to keep the money when it might come to you and to your family. So don't be a hypocrite. Don't be an opportunistic. Don't be a loser in this matter, because all they do is assuage you of not signing up for this. There's a lot of things in the first 2 quarters that are going to be happening. I'm going to be covering real estate, economics, and many other things that are going to take place. You're going to be able to buy homes. You're going to be able to rent cheaper. There are so many things on the thing. As a realtor myself, I'm out here in the Tampa area. I'm moving outside this area because I'm going to have to move very soon. And I'm looking outside the areas. I've been looking and contacting people. Things are affordable outside the big city fiefdoms in some way, but I've seen so many amazing opportunities that are available that I maybe because I live in Florida, I don't know what is in your state, but I see it on the horizon. I see a positivity, and I don't think that people, yes, there's still gas prices all over the place that are high, but it's not because of President Trump. It's because of state-sanctioned taxes that are just doubly imposed on your areas. If you live in California, you're basically paying 3 times the rate of everybody else in the rest of the country. Twice more than New York and New Jersey, but 3 times higher in the rest of the country. Why are you living there? Why are you living there? So don't bitch and moan about Thomas and I. Don't bitch and moan because gas is cheaper in Indiana or Idaho or Ohio when you pay $8 there. Get the fuck out. Why are you crying to me? I don't live in California. I don't really care about California. You know, that's for another discussion at a later date, Tom.
I get it. Guys, we are 300 gold pills away. Now 200 gold pills away from our goal to hit 5,000. We really do appreciate it. Thank you, One Thunder, with the can. Trump won with the back-to-back cookies. We're 3 cookies away. If anybody can drop, there's another one from Hogleg. We could do it, guys. This merch, guys, I'm telling you, if you drop an EMP, I will send you a free shirt on my dime to help you guys out. You can get a hat. You can get whatever you want. I'll help you guys out to do that.
I want a headband. Can I get a headband from the 1985 Bears?
I used to wear a headband.
It says Thomas. I'm just going to get a headband. It says TRU.
I used to wear a headband when I played basketball. It was insane.
I love headbands. Remember headbands? I know people like they're gay. They're like tennis. I'm like, no, they're not.
No.
1985 Bears quarterback. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're 3 gold pills away. Let's go ahead and do it. Hit that up. You could do it offline and all that kind of stuff. Somebody just hit 3 cookies right now.
Wow.
We're down to 1. Hogleg dropping the can. We're down to 1. Thanks, Hogleg. Thanks, Trusty. Thanks. Trump won as well. Thank you guys so much. We're almost there. Hit it up, guys. I will have my son again this weekend for Christmas. But I will be on Brett's show on Sunday. So check that out. That'll be at 7:30. We'll do a
I have what I do. I have a provision of questions. So Thomas is going to get like 10 questions.
Good.
And then I'm going to have a SAN hour that he's going to have to answer within a period of time.
That's totally fine. I'm being deposed.
No, it's good that you're coming on. I haven't done a Sunday show in a while, but it's great that you're coming on. I really appreciate that.
It'll be fun. 7:30.
Yeah, so you don't have to host. So you're like,
yeah, I'm nilly-willy over that way.
I'll make it as difficult as possible.
Please do that. I love difficultiness. All right, that's not a word. But, guys, I really do appreciate you guys tuning in. Please share the stream. Please like the stream. Hit that notification bell on YouTube. Thanks to everybody for the gold pills. Thanks for Brett for hanging out. We love you guys very much. And I'll see you guys Sunday on Brett's show at 7:30. Peace. Sunday.
Good night.